So there's a lot of material that I have prepared, but I think I'll just kind of touch on the main points. And there are lots of resources for you to go online, as Lindsay said, to get the basic tools for starting your own library, for understanding the value of developing a culture of sharing seeds and preserving bioagricultural diversity. But I wanted to, just acknowledge, I know that we have a number of libraries here today who have their own seed libraries, and I'll plug Emily once again. It looks like Emily is doing everything, because you may have seen she published an article in the Public Libraries magazine, Simple Steps to Starting a Seed Library. So it talks about the Mountain View experience. So there's just a lot of libraries starting seed lending libraries. San Jose Public Library, Alameda Free Library, Oakland Public Library, among, I'm sure, many others. Raise your hands if you are involved in a seed lending library in your library. Yeah, so we have a wealth of experience, so when it comes to the Q&A, I encourage you to get involved as well to share your stories. I'm just going to go quickly through this. There's a seed library social network. It's a way for people to connect with each other. In 2010, there were just something like 10 or 12 seed lending libraries, Richmond Grows among them. Now there are at least 300 seed libraries, and many of them are located in public libraries. So this is just probably an outdated map. It doesn't show all the 300, but you can get the sense that in a very short time, many seed lending libraries have started up. And, they're, like Lindsay said, this is an evolution of seed lending. So you can start with what we started with is really about encouraging people to grow their own food, but also evolve over time to really develop a practice of encouraging gardeners, once they are in the mode of gardening, to then grow out and harvest some of their crops for cultivating seeds to share. We're not quite at that. I mean, we get some people who are not just taking seeds, but bringing seeds back, but we have a long way to go to really make our seed library sustainable. There are a lot of, we live in the Bay Area, so many of you have probably been to the National Heirloom Expo that happens in Sonoma County. Rebecca Newburn started an annual seed summit, so it's an informal way of seed libraries getting together and sharing tips of what's worked or what's not, what their challenges are. The Bay Area Interchange Seed Exchange in Berkeley, they're very experienced. They have great resources to share as well. I love, just the culture of sharing that goes on. Our program is not just about making the seeds available, but it's really program rich. So actually a program that I did in 2011 with Novella Carpenter, Book to Action, which was actually the first Book to Action program that we launched in Hayward and in California. Now the Book to Action model has really taken off throughout the state. But we invited Novella to speak and had a standing room only audience. Partnered with the schools, so we went out into the community garden and worked with and supported the school garden that was going on at one of the schools. And since then, we continue to offer many ongoing workshops. So I just have a few examples. We had a wet seed saving workshop to show how you cultivate seeds from plants like tomatoes. With the drought in California, we brought in Bay Friendly to run a Lose Your Lawn workshop. So not all of the workshops are related to seed saving. It's more generally providing resources for and encouraging people to develop their own gardening practice. And in May, we launched, all of this is really community building, because in all of our programs, it's about as much as providing a platform for the experts to talk about their experience, but also for every participant to share their experience and their knowledge and, point out, oh, have you tried such and such for this great garden tool, or, there are ways that, we're really encouraging people to go out and get compost together and, and really band together. So the Seed Savers and Gardeners Club at this point is meeting quarterly, but many of our members, I think before long, will be meeting more frequently because everybody really likes the social aspect of this program. We had a volunteer presenter come and just a member of the community who loves to garden. She said, I'll volunteer to run a workshop about growing plants from seeds. So she did it, had a great response. She brought seedlings to share with participants. But sometimes we do bring in the experts to respond to interests expressed in the community. So, for example, we've continued to build our collaboration with Alameda County Master Gardeners. And at one of our workshops, a lot of people expressed interest in learning more about growing citrus trees. So we brought in an expert to do more of a kind of lecture classroom style presentation. And we did actually pay a speaker's fee. As much as possible, we try to find presenters who will be volunteers and sharing their expertise. We had a really great intro to herbal medicine and teas. Again, it was a local community member she put a phenomenal amount of energy into making various herbal teas to share, and then everybody did these herb-infused olive oil where she brought all of the herbs and we learned about their medicinal qualities, and then had jars where you put the olive oil in and tear up all the herbs and put it in, and then 6 weeks later you have a medicinal oil that can help with when your muscles are sore and things like that. So it was really, really fun and educational. But we've also organized things recently. In September, we had a Beekeeping 101 workshop, which was really fun. And just this last Saturday, we brought in Patrick O'Connor from the Bay Area Seed Interchange Library to do a basic seed saving introduction course. And that was really well attended. And we got to, we had a little presentation and then followed by actually, okay, here are the screens and here are some herbs and seeds and actually getting the seeds out and then contributing to them to our library. We have continued over the last, I think I'm going over. So in the last 6 months or so, we've tried to streamline our processes. So we now have a website with an online form for membership. We really want to collect stories, and so we have testimonials that are collected. Really, you'll see that everything about the Seed Library is about building our local community. We have an online membership form. We use Constant Contact to keep in touch. And I don't have time to do the primer on why it's important to save seeds, but probably many of you already understand why it's valuable, and there's a wealth of resources, including the Seed Underground book that we used. So I think I'll just leave it at that and then open it up to questions.